Welcome, folks. My name is Maggie Nowak. I am the local food system specialist for DESE's Office for Food and Nutrition Programs, and I am going to provide just a very brief walkthrough of GEMS, which is DESE's grant management and program cloud-based software that is used for grant applications for the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. This is the landing page of GEMS, what you're seeing now. This is a back-end beta test site, so you'll see it does say test, but all the functionalities are the same. And for this walkthrough, I'm going to use the example of fiscal year 25 Fund Code 0723 Mass Fresh Core, but the steps I'm going to take are applicable for any grant within GEMS that you might want to apply for. So the first thing you're going to do is in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to need a GEMS sign-in. Every individual who's going to be accessing GEMS should have a unique sign-in. So you're going to go ahead and put in your email address and password, and that should be a personal login for GEMS. Once you do that, you're going to find, and here I've used the example of logging into Abby Kelly Foster Charter Public. Thank you for letting me use you as an example. And when you get to the home page, you're going to see a few navigation options here on the left screen. When you're searching for a funding application, it is best to go to funding applications. And it's going to load for you a full page of all of the grant applications that your entity is eligible to apply for. So this is going to differ depending on your entity. For the example of Mass Fresh Core, early education entities that are CACFP sponsors, as well as school districts that are National School Lunch Program sponsors, are applicable. So I am going to look here on the left side at this table and look all the way down for Fund Code 0723. So you're scrolling through and you're going to see here, this is the funding application we're talking about in this example. But if you were looking for the School Nutrition Equipment Assistance Grant, that's also here as well. This is really where you can navigate to any grant that you would want to apply for. And the table gives you some helpful information, such as the due date for the grant here on the right, and then whether or not the application has been started or at what stage the application is in. So when you press on, and actually I'm going to switch over here to the School Nutrition Equipment Grant, but for any grant, you're going to select it, and then you're going to see within the grant the different application components, these sections. And so you can click into any of these sections and see the questions that are required to fill out. You can navigate by going back with the Go To section, or you can navigate to the next or previous page. But I'm going to select sections and go back to that landing page. And if you actually want to start to fill out your application, you'll see here when I press on a component of the application, let's say this required program information section, these boxes are grayed out. And so to be able to actually start to fill in your answers, you need to make sure that at the very top here for application status, that you change your status to application started. So right now the status, as you'll see, is not started. You're going to press this hyperlink. It's going to prompt you that, yes, you do in fact want to start the grant. You're going to confirm. And now you'll see your application status is application started. And when you go back to your grants section, you're going to be able to fill in, the information required and type into your questions. So those are a couple of, high-level best practices. I'll also say, very importantly, that the grant, you're going to see on this landing page for a grant, some tertiary links here. What you really need to focus on when you complete your application is the questions that live under the full name of the grant here. So in this example, this is these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections here. If I were to go to a different example, such as Fund Code 723 Mass Fresh Core, you're going to be completing these examples under the name of the grant. And these additional links are used for communication. So you can utilize the create comment to ask a question about the grant, though you can also just email the grant manager directly. And you want to ensure all of the required pieces underneath the grant title are completed. And once they are, and you want to go to submit your grant, you are going to change the status of the grant again. And as a reminder, there are 3 approvals that are required to consider your grant completed. So you're going to press this LEA grant writer, and you'll see in this case, I have errors. So if you haven't completed all the required section of your grant, it will prompt you and prevent you from submitting. But if I had completed all the application components, and you'll see here too, it will walk you through where there are errors. But if I had finished all the application components, it would ask me to confirm, just like when we started the grant, and then you would move the application through to the next 2 individuals that need to provide approval, the fiscal representative and the superintendent or chief executive. So that is our walkthrough today. I hope that provided some helpful tips. Also, please feel free to reference the DESE resources tab on the homepage. This does not require a login to access and has some helpful hints, especially for competitive grants like Fund Code 0723. This is where elements might live in terms of the planning documents, etc. Thank you so much.